Hey, book friends. I realized this month has a third paycheck to it, so that means I had a little bit of extra money to spend on some books. So usually I split my bills between the first check and the second check of the month. Since I get paid every other week, that's 26 paychecks, which means 2 months out of the year there's an extra paycheck, which means I have a little bit of extra money. So, of course, I went and did a book run to Books A Million and also Walmart. And yes, I did make most of my book selections based on sprayed edges because otherwise I could read them on Kindle Unlimited and I don't need a physical copy of the book. But if I'm going to get a physical copy of the book, I want it to be beautiful. So almost all of my purchases today have sprayed edges. Before you come at me, yes, I understand that Book Talk and BookTube and all of that has a problem with book consumerism, but I don't care. I mean, I care, but I don't care. So I figure, like, I'm trying to replace food as the thing that brings me joy in life. The other thing that brings me joy in life is books. So, you know what? There are worse things to spend my money on. And if having too many books is the worst thing about me, oh well. So if you're interested in seeing what books I got, stick around. If not, this isn't the video for you. So, I mean, I guess scroll on to the next video on YouTube. Anyway, if you're like me and you like seeing the book hauls of ridiculous numbers of books that people buy at Books A Million so that you can see the beautiful books that you also can get, here we go. So a lot of these were books that I heard about on Book Talk originally. Some of them are books that I had saved to read on Kindle Unlimited, but when I saw the versions of the books that were out there, I really just wanted to get the physical copy because I love books. I love books. I love the feel of books. I love turning the pages of books. I love reading the words on pages. It's just the way it is. So, first book, actually recommended to me by Amazon because its algorithm knows me like it knows everybody. Ship of Spells by H. Layton Dixon. I thought this was a really pretty book. Look at that sprayed edge. It's lovely. This one I did not hear about on TikTok, but when I read about it on Amazon, I decided that I did want it. When Ensign Blue Mage Anna Wren is rescued from the wreckage of her first naval post, she expects death or disgrace. Instead, she wakes aboard the Touchstone, a mythical vessel whispered of in dockside ballads and royal war rooms alike. With a crew of misfits, a mysterious elven captain, and a mission tied to the Dreadwall, the crumbling barrier that has kept the Overland and the Nethersea from open war for 100 years. But the tragedy that sank her last ship didn't just take lives, it left something behind. Now Wren carries a secret everyone wants, a magic that's chimeric, arcane, and slowly killing her. But the captain's mission may be her only chance to survive, even if he still doesn't trust her. So that's Ship of Spells. There's a beautiful version of it out there. You can get this one on Amazon, but I got this one at Books A Million. So that was my first purchase. My next purchase was 2 books in a series. So I guess my second and third purchase. So One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I was going to read on Kindle Unlimited, but everybody on Book Talk said this book was amazing. And not gonna lie, the sprayed edges were really pretty. So I decided to just go ahead and get the physical copy. And then since Two Twisted Crowns was there as well, I said, whatever, fine, I'll get that too. Plus this also has a really pretty sprayed edge. So I picked these guys up. The synopsis of this one, if you haven't heard of it, I'm not reading the whole inside the page blurb. I'm just reading kind of a chunk of it so that you can get a flavor of the book. But Elspeth Spindle needs more than luck to stay safe in the eerie Mistlock kingdom she calls home. She needs a monster. She calls him Nightmare, an ancient mercurial spirit trapped in her head. He protects her. He keeps her secrets. But nothing comes for free, especially magic. So that is that one. Super pretty. One Dark Window. I'm sure you've probably heard of this one before if you've been at all on Book Talk or BookTube or Book Anything, Instagram, whatever. Another Book Talk book that I picked up at Books A Million is this one, For Whom the Bell Tolls by J.C. Lynn. I don't actually know a lot about this one, but this one's been recommended on a lot of book reading lists. This one also had a really pretty sprayed edge, so I picked it up instead of reading it on Kindle Unlimited. I don't know much about this one. They told her to go to hell. She went, but on her own terms. Lily isn't exactly thrilled with her arrival in the afterlife, but what awaits her there is more fantastical than she could ever have imagined. Deities stand in line at coffee shops. Fae flit between realms. Souls find ways to make death a beginning. As she explores the many corners of her new home, Lily finds herself surprisingly drawn to a place most people would avoid at all costs: hell. So, I mean, this one kind of sounds right up my alley. I like weird, kind of quirky books, especially if they're about mythologies, like, you know, angels, demons, you know, centaurs, mermaid, whatever, like Mothman. Like, I love all of those weird mythologies, but this one was pretty, so I grabbed it. For Whom the Bell Tolls. My next purchase, I told you there were a lot of books I got today. This is another one that was recommended to me by Amazon and not necessarily Book Talk. But this one is Dawn of the Firebird. I have no idea how to say this author's last name. Sarah Mughal Rana? I don't know. I probably said that wrong. My bad. I'm sorry if I offended you. Beautiful sprayed edge. This one's a little different than, like, you know, regular romantasy, I think. A raven, a crane, and firebird each choose a tribe of man, granting humans heavenly magic, but power in man's hand caused endless war for land. With mankind's destruction, the birds perished, taking their magic along with them. The discarded daughter of an emperor is raised with her mother's nomadic tribe until a violent raid ends that peaceful life. Amid the chaos of death, the heavenly magic awakens within her, granting her the power to wield a cosmic light. She suddenly goes from outsider to weapon, finally accepted into her father's court. Now worthy, she trains in combat and poisons, pledging loyalty to his throne. So that one sounded pretty cool. So Dawn of the Firebird, I thought it sounded interesting. Again, another pretty book, so I grabbed it. Another Books A Million purchase is The Things Gods Break by Abigail Owen. Pretty sure I've also seen this on numerous TikTok to-read lists. Again, another really pretty sprayed edge, so I grabbed it. And this one's also right at my alley. So the gods want her dead, Hades will bury them. You'd think I'd have learned by now, don't mouth off the deities, don't fall for the king of the underworld, and definitely don't get dragged into a divine death match where I'm the cursed mortal prize. But here I am, trapped in Tartarus, humanity's worst pit stop, squaring off against monsters who make the gods look merciful. Titans twisted by centuries of rage and ruin are sealed behind 7 ancient locks. And guess what? I'm the key. So that sounded like it was right up my alley. I love this kind of, like, mythology retelling. So I grabbed a physical copy of this one as well. And then my last one from Books A Million is kind of a random one, but also had a beautiful sprayed edge. This one has, like, well, I guess not beautiful because it's got decomposing koi on it. But this is I guess a horror book, And the River Drags Her Down by Ji Yoon Yoon. This one, I need a break from all this romantic-y stuff once in a while. So, this is very different. When her older sister is found mysteriously drowned in the river that cuts through their small coastal town, Soo Jin Han disregards every rule and uses her ancestral magic to bring Mireille back from the dead. At first, the sisters are overjoyed, reveling in late-night escapades and the miracle of being together again. But Mireille grows tired of hiding from the world. She becomes restless and hungry. So this one sounded really interesting. I like a twisted, weird horror story every once in a while. So, And the River Drags Her Down was my last book that I picked up from Books A Million. But then I had to go to Walmart, and I couldn't just walk by the book aisle because I had already bought, you know, what is that, like 7 or 8 books. I, of course, needed more. So I had to see what Walmart had going for it. So I got 4 more, 4 more at Walmart. This one is The Bond That Burns. It has a cool dragon scale sprayed edge. This is book 2, so I have to pick up book 1. What is the name of the first one? Yeah, so On Wings of Blood is the first one, which I still need to get a copy of. But I picked this one up because I liked the scaled sprayed edges. So hopefully I can find a matching version of book 1 for this series, but that was my first, selection from Walmart. Second book from Walmart is Blackthorn by J.T. Geisinger, I guess. I've seen this on a couple of people's TikTok to-read lists, but not many. So again, I picked it because it has ravens on the sprayed edge, and I thought it was pretty, so I grabbed it. And I've heard good things, so whatever. 12 years ago, Maven Blackthorn fled her hometown, leaving behind the wreckage of her mother's suspicious death. But now, drawn back for her grandmother's funeral, Maven steps into Blackthorn's soil once more, only to find herself thrust into a fresh nightmare. Her grandmother's body has vanished. The Blackthorns immediately suspect the Crofts, the ruthless titans of Croft Pharmaceuticals, whose bitter blood feud with the Blackthorns has spanned generations. But when Maven comes face to face with Ronan Croft, the son of her mother's suspected killer and the only man she ever loved, she discovers the forbidden passion they once shared is alive and dangerous as ever. So this one, of course, is for those romantic-y girlies out there. But Blackthorn, only 2 left, I promise. I know this is ridiculous. The Elsewhere Express is a cozy fantasy book that was recommended to me by Amazon. I have not seen this a whole lot on TikTok. Again, sprayed edges are a stack of luggage, which is really cute. The other thing that I like about this book, which is just kind of weird and adorable, is the front cover has a coloring page that you can color in on your own, which is adorable and I have not seen in other books. So that is a really cute feature. Back cover too. Back cover is also a coloring page. But that's super cute. I've never seen that before in a book. But this one is, you can't buy a ticket for the Elsewhere Express, appearing only to those whose lives are adrift. It's a magical train seeming to carry very rare and special cargo, a sense of purpose, peace, and belonging. Rhea is one of those lost souls. She had dreamed of being a songwriter, but when her brother died, she gave up on her dream and started living his instead. One day on the subway, as her thoughts wander, she's swept off to the Elsewhere Express. There she meets Q, an intriguing artist who, like her, has lost his place in the world. Together they find a train full of wonders, from a boarding car that's also a meadow, to a dining car where passengers can picnic on lily pads, to a bar where jellyfish and whales swim through pink clouds. I think it sounds adorable. I picked it up. Sometimes you just need a cozy read, so Elsewhere Express. And then the last book that I picked up today, also a cozy read by Sarah Beth Durst, who wrote The Spell Shop, is The Enchanted Greenhouse. This one does not have sprayed edges, so not all of my books were bought just because they're pretty. But this one is, elsewhere in the Empire, on a remote island brimming with singing flowers, honey cakes, and honeyed love, Turlu Perna broke the law because she was lonely. She cast a spell and created a magically sentient spider plant. As punishment, she was turned into a wooden statue and tucked away in an alcove in the north reading room of the Great Library of Elysium. This should have been the end of her story, yet one day Turlu wakes in the cold of winter on a nearly deserted island full of hundreds of magical greenhouses. She's starving and freezing, and the only other human on the island is a grumpy gardener. To her surprise, he offers Turlu a place to sleep, clean clothes, and freshly baked honey cakes, at least until she's ready to sail home. But Turlu doesn't want to return home, and as she grows closer with the unwittingly charming gardener, Yarrow, she learns the magic that sustains the greenhouses is failing, causing the death of everything within them. Turlu knows she must help, even if it means breaking the law again. So I thought that sounded cute. So that was my last purchase. Yes, I understand this is a ridiculous number of books. But I bought them because it's the one time of year where I have a little bit of extra money, but there's my stack. It's ridiculous, I know, but look at how pretty it is. I'm not even sorry a little bit. And those of you who think it's too much consumption are just gonna have to deal with it, because this is one of the things in life that makes me happy, so I'm not willing to give it up. Is that a problem? Probably. Is it an addiction? Absolutely. But this is one thing that really brings me joy, so here's where we are. If you're interested in any of these books, let me know which ones caught your eye, which ones you might be interested in reading. Definitely adding these to my TBR list, and hopefully something in here spoke to you, and it'll be something that you add to your TBR list as well. I'll see you in the next video.